Hey guys, how are you doing today? I had told you that this video right now that I'm shooting will be about real estate because I'm so excited about sharing my learnings when it comes to the real estate market and how to, analyze deals, what to look out for, how to calculate what you're gonna make and what you're not gonna make and stuff like that. But while I was doing that, I also take some time out to get some feedback from people watching my videos to see what they think. And Martins, shout out to you. Thank you very much for letting me know. He was telling me about the fact that, okay, there's some people that are all the way up there, that they trying to start something or they already started something, but they have a kind of a order in their lives. And, his question was basically, how did you, overcome your weaknesses in life? Like before you get to where you are right now, before you got to where you are right now. How did you overcome your weaknesses, your personal weaknesses? And, I thought about it and I was like, should I talk about real estate or should I really answer this question? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to answer the question about the weaknesses. So here it goes. Don't kill me yet. It's going to be crazy. Anyway, the first thing that I have to say is that I never overcame my weaknesses. I have to be very honest with that. All my weaknesses that I've had, I still struggle with. I tend to think about them as a little man in me, but every day it's my choice to let that little man come out or not. Let me give you an example. For example, I hate, let me spell that out. H-A-T-E. I hate waking up early, but I do it every day, and I do it because, and almost every morning I got to ask myself, the same questions over and over again. Why do I keep waking up very early? I don't like to wake up. And I'm like, dude, you got to do it because you're trying to achieve this and that. And it's going to take you this many years and that many years or this long and that long to do this. So just do it today. We'll ask the same question tomorrow. And I repeat that every day. But when it comes to the general weaknesses about, okay, you want to do something, but, you just don't know how to start or whatever. I face that weakness all the time. Let me give you an example. When it comes to, for example, me deciding that I wanted to start trading stocks or that I really wanted to devote time and get into real estate. The thing is, a lot of people are talkers, right? That's 99% of people, talkers. You know what? They're going to wake up today and say, hey, man, you know what? Today, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to knock it out, boom, 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 I'm going to do that. At the end of the day, you ask them, hey man, what did you do? They're like, oh man, I'm going to try to do it tomorrow. And tomorrow is the same process. So I try my very best to not be a talker, but a doer. And what I always realize that really sets the two people together is they typically want to achieve the same results. But if you look at yourself where you are today and you look at maybe a colleague of yours or somebody you went to college with or something, and you guys had the same course, the same career path and everything, in like 10 years you realize both of you guys are not at the same place. Well, sometimes both of you guys are relatively at the same place, but some other times one person's like way ahead and the other person like way behind. And you ask yourself why. And the way I tend to think about it is in life, let me give you an example of how I see my own life, right? Every year, I'm like, you know what? These are the goals that I want to achieve this year. For example, let me say one of those goals was that I have to get a real estate property this year, right? So I was like, I need to do this, but how do I do it? Number one is I needed to get my credit score right up to speed, which was good. And number two is that I needed to get the down payment ready, and how do I commit to that, There's probably somebody else somewhere in this world that told himself at the beginning of this year, hey, this is the year I'm going to buy a house. But what makes them not buy that property and what makes somebody else buy it? It's just about the will, your self-will. When you have a willpower that's strong, what happens is if, for example, you tell yourself, I want to, just tell yourself, what's one thing you don't like to do? Say you don't like to jog every morning. Say, you know what, for the rest of this year, I want to jog every morning and stick with it. It's going to be tough. There's going to be days when you wake up and you're like, God damn it, I just don't want to do this no more, But if you have that willpower and it's strong enough, you will keep doing it every day and eventually you will achieve that. And then what happens is your willpower grows from level 0 to level 1. Because in the year following that, if you tell yourself this year, I also want to jog, but I want to run farther than I did last year. Every day when you wake up in this following year that you tell yourself you can't do it, when you think back and you're like, wait, last year I ran every single day. I don't want to break that record. So you know what happens? You go do it. And why is that? It gets to what I realized was, even when I was in school, right? I remember the first day I got into my master's program, I think this was in 2016. A couple of guys were solving some problems on the board. And when I got in there, you know, I was sitting down, somebody was solving questions on the board, and I was like, and he, you know, it was like a really long question. And like the second page of the solution, I was like, hey man, I think you made a mistake here. And he looked at me, he was like, no man, no, you gotta have something wrong. And I was like, man, I think you made a mistake. But he did not pay me any audience. And why is that? That's because he had no confidence in whatever I was saying, because he didn't know me from anywhere. Do you get what I'm saying? But when I look back towards just last year, August, if I had told the same person that, hey man, you made a mistake on line 5. Even if I haven't seen his whole solution, I bet you that he's gonna go back and look at line 5 and say, hey, oh yeah, he said this is wrong, man. You know? But that's because over the period that he's gotten to know me, I've developed a consistent level of trust or confidence in whatever problems we were solving, that he got to a point where he was like, if this guy says it's wrong, I kind of believe him. Have you ever told somebody that, hey man, you know what I want to do this year? I want to buy 2 properties, or I want to do this. Do you know somebody ever that will be like, I want to buy 3 properties this year? And you will be the one telling the person, hey, I'm very sure you're going to, like, you have faith in the person. You only have faith in the person, most probably because what they've said they will do before they do it. Some people, they will tell you they stand by their words. There's some people like that. They'll tell you, you know what? My no is a no and my yes is a yes. People like that, even you already know that, oh, if I tell him this, he's going to say no. And if he says no, he's going to stand by it. And why is that? Why is it that some other people, when they tell you no, you're like, I can still change his mind? People who have willpower have the ability to stick by what they want to. And I think that's the single most important thing when it comes to overcoming your weakness. It's willpower. You got to ask yourself, how much of a strong willpower do you have? For me, I have very rigid, I keep getting the words wrong, but I have a very rigid willpower. If I want something, like everything in me wants it. Do you get what I'm saying? And I just want it. But as I've also grown up, I've also realized that in as much as you want something, number one, we can't always get what we want. And when you think about that, it plays into the fact that you always have to reiterate and ask yourself, is what I'm asking of myself realistic? You know, that's when it comes to set realistic goals, right? You're broke today, don't tell yourself you want to buy a private jet tomorrow. You would not do that. You know, so set realistic goals. But, you know, when you are able to start doing that, it will help you, you know, because you're assessing where you are, you know. And don't be quick to judging anything. Like, don't be quick to just say, you know what, this and this and this is what I want to do this year. Don't be quick to say that. For me, I always look at what I'm positioned for. I ask myself, okay, this year, what's my positioning? You know, I'm positioned to have, let's say, for example, I'm positioned to have $5,000 by December. Maybe for you, you're positioned to have $50,000. Or maybe for you, you're positioned to have $5 at the end of December. That's what you're positioned for. So that is your situation in December. So when you're setting a goal for the year after that December, don't go on setting goals that will require $50,000 from you. No. Tell yourself, okay, I got $5. How do I make this $5 $10? What can I try? If you decide, okay, from all the investment stuff, there's millions of ways you can invest nowadays. If you tell yourself, how do I want to invest this $5 to make $10? When you start making discussions like that with yourself, you also need to keep it at the back of your mind that you could lose money, right? Investment, when it comes to investment, the ability to take risk is your ability to make more money. So the more risk you can take, the more money you can make. But risk is up and down, right? So you also have to be okay with losing all of that money. But what's most important that I would say you should take out of today's video, because it's getting longer than I wanted to, is willpower. Develop a willpower. And your willpower does not need to start with anything huge. It could start with something small that you want to change about yourself. For example, for me, I told myself I want to start waking up early, you know. I used to wake up at 8 something before, but now I wake up way earlier than that. I'm so proud of myself. Like, yes! When it comes to finances, my willpower has always been built and is strong. That's kind of like my strong suit, you know, but you also have to have like your strong suit. But most importantly, you need to develop your willpower. Develop it. You know, it's something that you got to grow over time. Tell yourself, I want to do something, and give it all it takes. Because life, what I notice about life is whenever I set my yearly goals, right? There's never a year that I would say everything was just smooth and I was just able to achieve everything I wanted. Never. The only thing that lets me achieve what I want is because despite all the stuff that life throws at me during the process, I stay focused on the goal. Let me give you an example. Last year, I had 3 semesters to graduate, and I told myself I want to do it in 2 semesters. You know, so what I did was I took courses that would allow me to that would speed it up. But that meant more workload and all that. And the previous year before that, I set up a goal that I wanted to graduate with the 4.0. So now I want to graduate with the 4.0. And I also told myself the previous year that I wanted to do 2 internships. Now, a regular student just does 1 internship and they graduate in regular time. And if they have a 4.0, that's great, you know. So, but I'm trying to achieve all of that in a time frame that's 6 months shorter than a regular person does. So that's insane. And I didn't want 1 internship, I wanted 2, which is super insane, because now I'm actually going to the phase of something that's almost impossible, which is how can you do your second internship while doing, you know, not just 9 credit hours, which is what a full-time student is supposed to take, but now you're talking about 12 to 15 credit hours while working a full-time job in a different state. How is that possible? Willpower, you know. And what I did was I sat down and I said, I'm going to do this regardless, you know. And I worked at it and I graduated in December. You want the details for that? I can make that another video. I don't want this to be stressed out more than it's supposed to. But the most important thing to getting over your weaknesses starting from today is a willpower. Tell yourself you don't want to eat the sweets anymore and cut it out your life. For me, for example, last year somewhere, I told myself, you know what? I'm not going to drink soda no more, like Coke, Fanta. I said, I don't want to drink that stuff no more. But I want to be okay with not drinking it. And what I did, I buy soda, but slowly over time, I just stopped drinking it, you know? So, but it's a matter of how strong is your willpower. It's something you got to grow. If you can start today with 1 task that you really want to do, a small one, don't make it a big task. Just tell yourself, regardless of what life throws at me, regardless of how sad or happy or whatever I get, I want to do this and I'm going to stick by it for this amount of time. If you can achieve that, then you will graduate from level 0 of your willpower. Then challenge yourself some more to get a level 1 and keep increasing that willpower. Give me some feedback on this video. Thank you guys so very much for listening. It's your boy Yo Yay. If you have questions, don't agree with my point of views, let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, subscribe to this channel. Let me know what's good, fellas. It's your favorite boy. I'm signing out.